In the beginning, I would just want a quick feedback from all the attendees over here as to how have been your SAT entrance exam today. A quick response from all the attendees today, because I'm quite sure that today you guys must have been a little relieved, especially after last week's NLU Delhi, because SAT, as it is known to be an easy entrance exam, did not disappoint students this year as well. So, attendees, please let me know by typing your responses as to how was it for you guys this year. All right. I get responses, pretty amusing responses, wherein students are admitting that the English was 6th grade level. All right. Okay. So that indicates that you guys are pretty happy with the question paper, and you guys are confident that you guys will definitely get a good score. So a quick response again from the students before I go into the actual analysis of the paper as to how much of marks you guys are expecting out of the 150 of the total marks that we have for SAT. A quick response from the students. Any estimation pertaining to the marks that you guys have been guessing after giving your entrance exam? All right, that's pretty confident. Yeah. The scores that we can see is actually going to go pretty, steep this time, for the fact that this year the paper was really in the expected lines, and it was pretty easy for all those students who have been taking classes from LST, because there was nothing in the question paper which was unexpected. And the questions were also pertaining to topics and discussions that we have already had in classrooms. So the classroom coaching as well as the course material seems to have been of immense help in this entrance examination, SAT Symbiosis Law entrance examination, and there had hardly been any surprises, unlike last week's NLU Delhi. So I am sure that this paper is going to give a good kick to all these students to prepare harder for CLAT without any disappointment, with full confidence and with full zeal. So I would just go about sectional wise pertaining to today's paper. Today's paper was 150 minutes paper. Unlike all other law entrances that we have got, be it NLU Delhi, which is already true, or be it CLAT, upcoming CLAT in the next week, SAT is easier even for the fact that 150 questions to be solved in 150 minutes. So obviously for each question you get an estimated 1 minute, which is quite enough considering the other entrance examinations where there is quite a lot of time crunch present. So today's paper had anyways not posed any problem, for the fact that every student had got 1 whole minute to think about a particular question. English, which usually poses a little bit of problem to students in SAT, for the fact that in SAT all the questions in the English section is pertaining to reading and comprehension, wherein an estimated 4 to 5 number of RCs are given, reading and comprehension passages are given. This time there were 4 reading and comprehension passages given, out of which all 4 had very direct questions being asked. So that was again a big respite to the students in the examination hall, for the fact that the questions were pretty easy. If at all any of the students have followed the strategy which we had mentioned on the day of the strategy webinar for SAT, wherein we have given you tips with regards to reading comprehension. We had asked you to glance through the passage first, go to the questions, and then go back to the passage again. If you have undertaken this strategy, then I'm sure that, your time management would not have been a problem at all, for the fact that, the questions that were asked in RCs were very direct. Let's just have a quick feedback from all the attendees over here. If, the strategy was utilized, all the attendees just give me a quick response to let me know if, you had utilized the strategy or you had adopted some other strategy, which could be of some help to, your peers. All right. It seems that the strategy webinar had been useful to you guys. That's pretty impressive. All right. With reading and comprehension, with the English section, all the reading and comprehension, the 4 passages that we had, apart from those 4 passages, the 25 questions that were asked were not difficult at all. Firstly, the English section did have closed test, which is a paragraph given with loads of fill in the blanks. Even such kind of closed tests, which pose a little bit of difficulty on the day of examination, did not pose any hindrance, for the fact that the passages were pretty easy, the paragraphs were pretty easy, wherein the fill in the blanks were pretty comprehensible. So it was easy for the students to understand and put in the answers with respect to the questions that were given. Secondly, the questions pertaining to the RC passages were very direct. The RC passages were not long. That's one of the, relief factor in this entrance examination. The passages were not long at all. The passages comprised of around 100 to 150 words only. I believe that, all the students who have been, undertaking the suggestions, who have been following the suggestions from all your faculties back at your centers, who have been, suggesting to increase upon your reading habit, and have also been, asking you guys to, time limit yourself while reading. I'm sure if you had followed these strategies, it had helped you guys immensely to, understand the passages and do the passages within the given time limit. Similarly, the remaining questions, the vocab part from the passages were pretty easy and pretty direct, and it did not have any surprises, relatively no surprises present as compared to the other sections, which we will be discussing. Okay, so English, as we can see, was pretty good, and I believe that, like the attendees are saying that, 6th grade level English, it implies that, you guys have been happy. You guys have been pretty happy with the English section. If I talk about the time management in this particular paper, I should say that, the English section, the English part of it should not be, answered beyond a 35-minute span. Okay, so I hope most of the students have attempted English within a span of 30 to 35 minutes. I shall mention that on the board itself, whiteboard itself. Please keep a tab on the whiteboard. Okay, so it should be around 30 to 35 minute maximum, because beyond that, no time was demanded, for the fact that, the section was really easy and did not pose any problem. Next, we are going to the critical reasoning section. The critical reasoning, again, this was a little, like last year critical reasoning was pretty different from what it was usually asked. However, this year it was not such. So the critical reasoning section did not pose much of a difficulty, for the fact that, the questions were pretty from the syllabus that LST had been adhering to. So there was questions from statement assumptions, statement conclusions, strong and weak arguments, assertion, reasoning, drawing conclusions from a given statement, without any extra number of effort students could attempt this particular section. And there was only one new thing added this year, which was pertaining to, the figure-based questions. Usually, SET in the critical reasoning section had not been asking questions pertaining to figure-based questions, but this year figure-based questions were asked. But even though, it was a surprise in this particular section, but I can tell you for sure from the feedback that we have received from the students that this section did not pose much of a problem, for the fact that the analysis part was pretty easy and the questions were pretty easy without much deviation from all the previous years. So again, this section did not pose much of a difficulty. For the critical reasoning section, a test span of around 35 to 40 minutes could be allotted, all right? And I'm sure that, all the students must have been, able to solve this particular section within a span of 35 to 40 minutes. Going to logical reasoning now. A quick response from all the attendees over here. Did you guys face any pertinent problem with the critical reasoning section? If yes, then you may just let me know about it. Because as far as the feedback that we have received from all the students who have attempted this paper, no such possible difficulty was figured out from any of the students attempting this paper. So any other responses from the attendees will always be welcome. So in case you guys found it a little deviation from what we have received, from the feedback that we have received from the students who have appeared for this examination, you may please give in your inputs, okay? So, critical reasoning was, to be confined within a time span of 35 to 40 minutes. And next, we go to the logical reasoning part. Okay. Analytical reasoning, again, all right, the SET norm goes, did not pose any problem as such, and this section did not see any surprises. Like even in the critical reasoning section, we did have surprises pertaining to the figure-based questions. However, in analytical reasoning section, we did not have any surprises. The major chunk of the questions were from arrangement-based problems, which most of the students will agree that a thorough practice of such kind of questions had been given from your LST classroom coaching. So these questions must not have posed any problem as such. There were series-based questions, all right, which were pretty great in numbers. Again, the series-based questions, have been made to practice pretty, much in the LST classes. So I'm sure that even series-based questions must not have given any problem. There were, of course, coding and decoding problems, which were much easier in attempt, for the fact that in the last NLU Delhi entrance examination, the coding decoding questions were not too easy. Students did find it a little difficult, and that posed a lot of time constraint for them, for the fact that they kept on thinking about one particular problem, all right, a little too much. But however, in SET this year's paper, the paper anyways wasn't lengthy, to the fact that one question had one whole minute to be given. So anyways, time was not a constraint, and on top of that, the questions also were pretty easy. So anyways, no time, no extra time would have been given. Yes, of course, the arrangement problems that we have given in the modules of LST seem to be like a direct copy from LST. This is what the feedback had been for many of the students whom we had contacted for the analysis, and I believe that that made things pretty easy in the examination hall, because it is always a relief when you see that questions are coming from your practice papers which you have already done back in your classroom, and it has already been rectified and corrected by your faculties. So even the answer for that matter is pretty short for you guys. That gives you an extra edge in this particular entrance examination. So the critical reasoning section, again, I would say, being pretty easy, should not have taken more than 30 minutes max. All right. So I'm sure that the time frame that we have arrived to from the feedback of the students whom we have had a talk pertaining to the analysis. I'm sure most of the attendees would also agree to this time division, because this is how the sections were made easy for attempt. General knowledge, unlike most other entrance examination, had actually not posed any difficulty, though there were major chunk of questions from general from static knowledge, but even the static knowledge questions appeared to be pretty easy. What is the feedback of the attendees? Let me just have a quick feedback of the attendees. In the meantime, I'll give you the time slot for general knowledge. So let me know what the attendees felt like while attempting the general knowledge. Was it like NLU Delhi, wherein you got a shock pertaining to all history based and the science based questions being asked? Because in this entrance examination, GK was a mixture, a proportionate mixture of all these sections. So all the aspects of GK which had been discussed in the classroom was pretty well observed in the question paper. So it must not have given you the alienated feeling in the general knowledge section, for the fact that all the questions were almost discussed either in the classroom or in the mock test papers or in your general knowledge database, which is available on your MyLST account. So for general knowledge section, a time frame of not more than 15 minutes should have been allotted. So 12 to 15 minutes is a pretty decent, 10 to 15 minutes rather, I should be saying. 10 to 15 minutes is a pretty decent time for general knowledge, because the rule applies for all the entrance examinations. Either you know a general knowledge question or you do not know a general knowledge question. So there is no point pondering upon a particular general knowledge question and wasting time on it. So general knowledge question, section of general knowledge should have been attempted within a time frame of around 10 to 15 minutes. Next, we go to legal reasoning. All right. How was the legal reasoning for most of you in SAT? From all the attendees, a quick response pertaining to the legal reasoning section. Yes, the legal reasoning section, though unlike last year, had questions which did not give you the principle. However, the knowledge-based questions were also pretty easy. Questions such as from the concepts of negligence, voluntary non-fit injuria, some such subjects of torts, concepts of torts were asked, wherein legal principle was not given. But I believe the concept, the facts had been pretty easy to decipher the concept of law of torts. So I'm sure that such kind of questions did not pose much of a difficulty to the students in the examination hall, for the fact that these questions, I mean, you guys probably did not apprehend that questions pertaining to no legal principle would also be given in this entrance exam. However, the entire section was a mixed combination of legal reasoning and legal knowledge. Legal knowledge questions, as in one-word questions pertaining to legal knowledge, were very few in number, but legal knowledge were also asked in the fact-based questions, wherein the principle was missing. But Even though the principal was missing, I am sure it did not pose much of a difficulty to the students for the fact that, the fact made it pretty clear to ascertain what type of a crime it was, what type of a tort it is, and even the constitution questions for that matter. To the respite of the students, not many questions pertaining to the articles were asked. So that I believe, even though you guys were prepared, I'm sure most of you are prepared with articles, right? The attendees over here, how many of you have, by hearted the articles for this entrance examination? Let me just have a quick feedback pertaining to that. Did you guys by heart the articles and go for SAT entrance exam, thinking that, your knowledge section would have such kind of questions? You did? Alright. I'm telling you, even though SAT did not ask you such questions, be prepared for your CLAT. So don't think that, it went on a waste, because CLAT is always there, and for CLAT you should be prepared holistically. So it is important that, you know all the articles. So good job done for all these people who are for all these attendees who are saying yes, that, you guys have by-hearted the articles. Your hard work will definitely not go in vain when you are appearing for your entrance exam for CLAT next week. Okay. So overall, for the legal aptitude section, not more than 30 minutes, should have been given. Considering the time frame that we have understood had been given by each of these students while appearing for the entrance examination, you must have had a decent time of around 5 minutes to even glance through your answer script to figure out that whether all your answers are marked properly, whether the shading had been properly done, or whether you have filled in your details properly, which in most of the entrance exam like NLU Delhi did not give you time to do so. Even CLAT, for that matter, would probably not give you ample number of time in your hand to revise or to go back to questions which you have left behind. So that way, I believe time management had not been a problem at all with SAT paper, for the fact that there were 150 questions to be solved in 150 minutes, and even when we have understood from the feedback of the students the way they have attempted the paper, it gives us a room of around 10 to 15 minutes, alright, wherein student had been able to give time to revise, to give time to go back to the questions wherein they have left out on particular questions, and marked it again on the OMR sheet. I also believe that, with this entrance examination, another thing, the level of the difficulty being pretty easy to, moderate, I am sure that, you guys are pretty confident that, even your next exam, because this is pretty, it's a student psychology, that once an exam goes well, you feel that, the preparation must have been decent, so, the next exam would also go pretty well. And that psychology, if you have gotten into it already, I would say it's a very good thing, it's a very commendable thing. The fact that you really need a good boost to prepare harder for CLAT and give it the best shot for CLAT. After analyzing the strategy of this particular entrance examination, SAT entrance examination, let's go to the cutoff now, because for the fact that you guys would acknowledge that SAT is not just about giving the entrance examination and getting a rank, because like all other entrance examination, wherein only the rank decides whether you're getting into the college or not, here in SAT it is not so. In SAT you would have to actually get through the GPI as well, the group discussion and the personal interview. So a cutoff of around, over here in this entrance examination, it is expected that a cutoff around 110 to 115, minimum 110 to in lower range. I'm talking about the lower range. 110 to 115 is pretty plausible, for the fact that the level of the question paper this time had been pretty easy. Unlike last year, which was around 108, okay, was the cutoff for Pune campus. With regards to the Noida campus, the cutoff had gone to 100. Here this year we are expecting that 5 to 10 marks of increase from the last year's cutoff is expected. So for the Noida campus of around 105 to 110 is expected. Similarly for the Pune campus, we are expecting a cutoff of around 110 to 115. So if you guys are pretty confident that your plausible marks is a little above what I had just mentioned, then you should be assured that a pretty decent call from either of the campuses is going to come. And as and when the GDPI calls are out, I hope you know the process. You will have to contact with the center so that we could arrange for your GDPI practice sessions, all right? And thereafter, you can get prepared for the final GDPI rounds with Symbiosis College. Pertaining to the results, yes, we do not have any fixed information pertaining to when the results for this particular entrance is going to be out, for the fact that from Symbiosis, they have not come out with any date as yet. The entrance exam is just over today. So by the end of this month, all right, like the trend had always been, by the end of this month, the results for SET is going to come out, wherein you will be allowed to know whether you are getting a GDPI call or not. After the GDPI calls are given, all right, you'll have to appear for the GDPI sessions with with Symbiosis College, and thereafter the final admission results would come out. So, as yet, any fixed dates pertaining to the results of the SET has not come to notice. The college has not formally declared any results date. So in case you guys are finding out some dates, all right, don't think that that's the fixed date, for the fact that the college has not come up with any fixed date as yet. So tentatively, it's going to be later half of the month of May. So after 20th of May, we would definitely have the hint. And as and when LST is getting to know with regards to a fixed date for the results to be out, we shall definitely intimate you over my LST account, and I'm sure the centers are also going to intimate you. So you could also keep in touch with your center. I would also like to mention over here that considering this strategy analysis of the paper is entirely based upon the feedback that we have received from the students, we are unable to discuss each and every question that had come in your paper, entrance test paper. The fact that we do not possess, the college has not given the question paper, so we do not have the question paper with us. Hence, we are not being able to discuss each and every section of this particular paper and each and every question from each of these sections. But I would request you guys to contact the center, the respective faculties under whom you have been mentored, in order to clarify any significant doubts pertaining to any question that you remember. Okay, so you may contact the centers and get in touch with your faculties who have dealt with your classes for 1 year or for the crash course in whatever mode of tuition classes you had been taking from ST. But with regards to each and every question discussion over here in this platform, it becomes a little difficult for the fact that we do not possess any question paper at this point of time, and the college itself has not given the passed on the question paper. And then we would definitely not want to confuse you guys by hearsay what we gather. I have a question from one of the attendees over here. If selected, what should one expect in GD? All right. Okay. See, GD is primarily pertaining to questions which are, on topics rather, which are current affairs, mostly current affairs. Okay. So 2G scam, or maybe the Sarabjit Singh issue, the political relationship with India and Pakistan could be a possible question. Then with regard regards to, yeah, 100 years of Bollywood, all right, could also be a question pertaining to the GD, all right. The GD questions would confine, not limited to, like, any particular aspect. For GD, don't you worry, after your results, after your selections are through, we would definitely help you out with GD, and we would, like, prepare you pertaining to the group discussion topics. So once your cutoff list is out and you guys get a call pertaining to the GDPI, you should definitely contact your respective centers, wherein GDPI sessions will be arranged for you guys, and we will accordingly prepare. LST is going to accordingly prepare you for the GDPI. But yes, keep reading newspapers so as to, like, you are in touch with the current affairs, and keep preparing yourself for, like, GD topics on the basis of the current affairs. It could not only confine to, like, law, governance and polity. However, it would also include, like, anything and everything that is, happening around us. So I think daily habit of reading newspaper is also going to be of some help at this juncture. So, any other pertinent question pertaining to, like, the strategy of SCT paper? Alright, the GDPI takes place usually in the respective campuses, alright. For Noida, it is going to take place in Noida campus, and for Pune, it's going to take place in Pune campus. So, in respective campuses, the GDPI is going to take place. As and when, you cross the cutoff and the list is out, the college itself will intimate you pertaining to, to which particular college you are eligible, which particular campus rather, you are eligible for the GDPI. As and when that list is out, you will get to know that, if it is for Noida campus, you will have to come down to the Noida campus for your GDPI, and if it is pertaining to your Pune campus, then you will have to go to the Pune campus and, like, appear for your GDPI. Students who are, like, who are getting through both the campuses may choose either of the campuses to, like, appear for their GDPI. Yes, I see a question over here where the student is concerned whether the GD is more like a debate and how is the candidate judged in this. Okay. Yes, of course, the GD, when it is a group discussion, alright, it appears to be, it tends to be like debate, for the fact that, you will have to, like, lead the discussion, you will have to, like, channelize the discussion, and in the entire process of the GD, the panelists, the judges are going to see that, what kind of the intensity that you have got pertaining to the depth of the knowledge of the particular GD topic, all right, and how well you're being able to, like, carry forward with that, the confidence with which you are being able to, like, discuss the GD topic, and, how you're being able to lead the team, all right, pertaining to your viewpoints, okay. So these are the few things which, a candidate is judged. It is obviously, the candidate is going to be judged not completely on the oratory skills, but also, oratory skills influencing the, the leadership quality of a particular person. So these things are very, primary when it comes to GD. Not just Symbiosis GD, any GD for that matter. Okay. So I hope, Prashant, you have, your question is answered by this. Any other question pertaining to, the campus, or pertaining, pertaining to the selection, or pertaining to the cutoff? You could, always place it before me over here. Okay. So, any other pertinent questions you may please ask. Okay. here an attendee is writing that SET has declared 20th of May to be the date, alright, for the results. Okay, just give me a moment wherein I could just check and get back to you. Oh yes. Pertaining to the results, all right, of SET, yes, Symbiosis have on the website of Symbiosis International University, they have mentioned 20th of May to be the date when they are going to come out with their cutoff lists. So here we have the dates then. 20th of May is going to be the date on which we are going to receive the Symbiosis cutoff list. So yes, on 20th of May you will get to know for which particular college you are getting the GDPI call, the Pune campus or the Noida campus. Okay. So I believe, the strategy has been discussed already, and in case you guys have any further questions pertaining to, each of these sections, any individual questions from, these sections, English, critical reasoning, analytical reasoning, general knowledge and legal knowledge, then you may please contact, the respective faculties from your centers in order to, have your answers given to the question. And I believe with that we will end with this particular analysis session for Symbiosis. If there is any other question, then you may just ask. I would give you a 2 minutes time slot to give questions in case you have any. Else we are going to end with this webinar today here. And please don't forget, we are definitely having a session for test taking strategy for CLAT, which will take place on 6th, alright, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. So I would request you guys to register yourself for that particular test taking strategy for CLAT webinar, which is taking place on 6th of May, which is Monday, and from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. Okay, so I believe for a detailed analysis, anyways, you can log to lawentrance.com, wherein the SAT analysis has been given to you guys. So that's it for the analysis part today here. All the best to you guys and prepare hard for CLAT. So signing off here. Good night.